at this time, Beth Lohman with the Huckleberry Trail.
So David gave us strict instructions that we only have 9 minutes and 59 seconds. So I'm not sure I've had enough coffee to get this done, so we'll give it a try. Last year, Friends of the Huckleberry celebrated its 30th anniversary. Friends of the Huckleberry did. We've been a nonprofit. And over that 30 years, we've been focused on bringing together public and private partners to build capital for property acquisition and to fund construction of the trail. It's just been within the last 2 years that we've really started to look at three things: how to raise the profile of the Huckleberry Trail and highlight this amazing community asset, how to build partnerships with local businesses, and how to market the trail as a destination or a reason to stay in the region a little bit longer. We're really fortunate to live in a region that's rich with historical, cultural, and natural resources. And our regional tourism directors, like David, and the other marketing experts that are here today and that are intimidating me a lot, are doing an amazing job of marketing the opportunities and the experiences that the region has to offer. We believe the Huckleberry Trail is part of that mix, and I'll share a quick story that I've shared with some of you this past week. Last week I was riding my bike to Glade Road Growing, which is a farm that exists within the town limits. I was going out there to pick up my farm share, and I came across two couples. They were standing at a trail kiosk looking at the map. So I'm the most extroverted introvert that there is, so I stop and talk to everyone. So I asked if they needed help, and one couple was from Philadelphia, the other couple was from Richmond. They were traveling together. They were staying out in Floyd, and they came over to Christiansburg for the day. And actually, I was talking to Steve this morning, and he was saying that they had stopped into the Chamber of Commerce office, and he had directed them over to the Recreation Center. So they were on the trail, so I kind of gave them some directions, and then off I went. And that night, they emailed me, and they said, hey, we're going to be in Floyd for the rest of the week. Where should we ride? So I sent them some additional riding itineraries. So, I definitely think the Huckleberry Trail is a destination, or it's part of a multi-day kind of itinerary. The Huckleberry Trail itself is a 15-mile paved multi-purpose path that is part of a completely connected 60-mile network of paved and natural surface trails in Montgomery County. Our 60-mile system sits in the middle of a larger regional trail network. I'm positive, Friends of the Southwest folks, I've missed something in there. So most of the destinations that I've shown on this map here can be reached within 2 hours of Montgomery County, which makes Montgomery County a great base camp for exploring the region. The ones that are shown here now are really like paved paths or cinder paths that are for kind of a hybrid bike or a gravel bike. But if you add in the mountain bike trail system as well, it's really a growing asset. The trail network is just amazing in the region. And I'll share another quick story. My husband and I, we frequently ride the New River Trail, especially from Ivanhoe to the waterfall on Chestnut Creek. Over the past year, I've been carrying the new Huckleberry Trail map with me, and when we encounter out-of-state people, again, the most extroverted introvert you'll ever find, I stop and talk to them, give them a map, and on several occasions, several days later, we'll be out on the Huckleberry Trail, and they will have come to Blacksburg. They extended their stay and came on over to Blacksburg and Christiansburg in Montgomery County to ride the trail. So again, I think that we have an opportunity to create multi-day itineraries for people to explore the expansive trail network in the region. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I'm a volunteer in this position, so I try to do what I can. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the projects that we've got in the works or that we have worked on to kind of that fit in that kind of tourism promotion arena. When I stepped into the leadership role about a year and a half ago, one of my first priorities was to create a trail map. I worked with Pisgah Map Company out of Western North Carolina. When we sat down to scope the project, we realized that we had an opportunity not only showcase the Huckleberry Trail, but to showcase that 60-mile natural and paved surface trail network. And so the map includes the Brush Mountain Park, the Poverty Creek Trail system, the Coal Mining Heritage Loop Trail, and it's the first map that has depicted that entire system. It's printed on the same high-quality, water-resistant paper that the Nat Geo maps are printed on. When we sat down with Pisgah and they said, well, how many copies do you want to order for your first run? I was like, I have no idea. So we decided on 1,500, and we intentionally decided not to sell the maps directly to users. We instead wanted to build relationships with local businesses. So we have partnered with all of these retailers to sell the map, and it's a way to kind of create more foot traffic for those local businesses. In just a year, we've sold around 1,050 maps through all of those local retailers, and we've given away about 200. So I only have about 250 copies left, and half of those are already spoken for. We're going to start working with Pisgah Map later this fall to update the map, and we're going to step out the extent of the map, so it's going to get a little bit bigger. It's going to show all the new additions. It's going to show some of the, I hope, planned connections in Christiansburg. And we're also, the map has been kind of shown around, and it's gotten a lot of great feedback. And so we've been talking to another locality in the region who wants to do a similar map. And we have an opportunity maybe for the maps to kind of line up a little bit. So I don't know, maybe we have a potential to have a series of maps from the region like this. So another thing is, David mentioned is it the AE6? The Arts and Economic Study. So there is tremendous interest in creating art in and around the trails, another way to attract visitors to the trail. I've had a few conversations with the Blacksburg Regional Arts Association about hosting events and commissioning installations in the corridor. Our first actual project, though, comes from Matt Gentry. As many of you may know, Matt has been spending less time with his camera and more time with paintbrushes. And earlier this year, he completed a watercolor series of the Huckleberry Trail. And because Matt is a kind and generous soul, as all of you know, he's donated the originals and the rights to the artwork to the Friends of the Huckleberry Trail. And there's a couple of examples of the artwork back there on the table. We've been working with the Artful Lawyer in the Montgomery Museum of Art and History. And where's Casey? We had an exhibit over at the Artful Lawyer, and that closed out last week. We're moving the exhibit as we speak over to the museum on Tuesday of next week, and then on September the 8th, the new show will open at the museum with a talk by Matt again. And then in late October, we're going to be working with Casey in the museum to auction off the originals. So more information on that to come. But again, it's another great partnership with the arts and getting people into the museum and in the galleries. One of our goals is to continue to provide users with better resources for exploring the trail. And to do that, we need better access to better tools, or more access to better tools, like Esri's story map, to provide richer details on the natural, cultural, and historical assets that are along or adjacent to the Huckleberry Trail. We want to kind of show people that you can use the trail not only to kind of travel back and forth between the communities, but to actually access these assets. So if you're not familiar with the application, it's a very interactive map platform where you can put in text, images, multimedia features. So we're going to be, thanks to Draper Aiden Associates, which is now a TRC company, and we're going to be pulling that together in the near future. One of the things that I wanted to highlight is that the trail is owned by the three localities, Blacksburg, Christiansburg, and Montgomery County. In all the years that the trail has been in existence, we've never had a master plan for the trail that kind of unifies the vision and the goal of what the user experience will be like on the trail. So last summer, I approached the Regional Commission to see if they could support the development of a master plan. And fortunately, Kevin and the MPO supported the idea both through funding and staff time. And over the last year, Kevin's team facilitated numerous meetings and workshops with key stakeholders. And I'm super excited to share that the first part of the plan is complete and now available on the Commission's website. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, I would encourage you to do so. And we'll be working next year to start implementation of that plan. And then the last thing I wanted to do is just to express my gratitude to the Chamber of Commerce for selecting Friends of the Huckleberry as the legacy project for this year's leadership program. Since I've taken on Friends of the Huckleberry, we've set some really ambitious goals for an all-volunteer organization. And so far, we've been succeeding, but we really can't keep this up without growing our capacity. So just like the Crooked Road, we're taking this year as an opportunity to look at our organizational structure through the help of the Chamber, to see how we can grow our organizational structure and capacity to continue to kind of create these opportunities and partnerships. And we're also looking at our social media presence, our website, and how to improve those resources as well.